Welcome to our YouTube channel on Success and Women. Women helping women.
Come join us.
See you soon. Welcome to this week's episode of Success and Women. I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And today we're going to be talking about setbacks and how you can recover when things are not going in the direction that you expected them to. And this will have to do with your goals or other setbacks. But before we start, Andrew's got her tip of the week.
Hello, everyone. So the summer's coming, and I know people are planning their backyard barbecues or dinners at home. And usually we go out and we buy lots of 2-liter pops, ginger ale, Diet Coke, and even
soda for those who are in the States. We call
soda,
it pop here, but it's soda in the States.
Soda, and of course the large water bottles. So I saw this tip that if you have one of those 3-tiered shoe racks, the wire ones, or even plastic, you just put that, say, outside or in your kitchen, and they stack beautifully the 2-liter bottles.
Wow.
So you can put 12 bottles if you want, and you don't have to be running down to the basement or stacking them in your cupboards or anywhere else like that. They're all ready to go, and you can see how many you have if you need to run out and get more, because I know in my house we always need those type of things when we're having guests over, or especially a barbecue.
But that's an excellent idea, because it is nice where you can see what you have. Mm-hmm. You also can see where you're running out of the different flavors, so that you can restock it. That's right. Usually you have a thing of ice and cups and stuff, so it makes it perfect.
Right.
Wow, yeah. I love that.
Yeah,
it's a good tip.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so
even if I say so myself.
That's right. There you go. Anyway, I don't have a backyard, so it doesn't really apply to me. Those days are gone at this point in my life. And even when I'm in Florida, I got a little balcony. I couldn't accommodate too many people. So anyway, the reason we wanted to talk to you ladies about setbacks is because sometimes you do get setbacks in life, and that all of a sudden prevents you from moving forward towards the success that you're trying to achieve. And recently, Andrea was telling me, because, we talked about this on a previous show, that she's been struggling with her weight and wanting to lose a few pounds. And all of a sudden, recently, she was at an event that was, I'm going to say, taking place over a weekend. And that meant out-of-town company, a lot more, I'll say, meals that she wasn't in control of. Yes. And so she was just telling me that how she handled the setback of experiencing this weekend. Right. And so there's other things that will happen, and we want to start off at least by talking about that. So Andrea, why don't you give the ladies a little bit about what happened and what you were doing?
So I don't know if you all know, but I'm a member of Weight Watchers, and I had joined years ago just online, and I accomplished my goal, but then back to Florida and the eating, and I wasn't watching, and up came the pounds again. And it just seems to go up and down 20, 25 pounds. It drives me insane. But anyway, so this time I joined Weight Watchers, but I joined for the workshops also, the in-house workshops. And I'll have to tell you, ladies, if you want to join Weight Watchers, that's the way to go. So, it's been about a month now, 5-6 weeks, and consistently I've lost between 1 and 2 pounds a week, going nicely. And I always go to the meetings, because I'm excited, because I never weigh myself now during the week.
Oh, good.
I wait. And the program they have, you have to track your meals. So I'm very, very consistent. And that's another thing with reaching your goals, is being consistent and, constantly thinking, planning what to have to eat, or how many points this, how many points that. And I've been very good. So a couple of weeks ago, my sisters came down, and now here's another thing. Sometimes you think that you really failed, like you really went off the beaten track. And that's what I thought had happened that weekend, because my sisters came, they love the Chinese food. So we had to do that, and a couple of other, we went to Dairy Queen. So a couple of things like that. So I thought, oh, I don't want to go Tuesday, but you know what? I did. I was trying to make excuses not to go for the weigh-in, but I said, you know what? Just face it and accept it. Accept whatever the setback is. So I get there and I said to the lady, I'm not expecting good things when I get on this scale. So I got on and she goes, so you weren't expecting good things? I said, no. She goes, so I guess you'd be happy if I told you you lost 1.8 pounds. I was ecstatic. So there you go. Sometimes you think you've really spoiled it, but you haven't. So then I thought, okay, that's great, because next week I have a 50th wedding anniversary. And we had friends, our relatives come in from out of town. And so it basically started, it was a 5-day affair of eating and going out and buffet and this and that. And of course, you don't want to be the one sitting there, you know, having, I'll just have a salad. And especially when we had the home cooked meals. So anyways, I just said to myself, you know what? Enjoy your weekend. Do what you want and worry about it next week. And then I was able to relax and enjoy it. So then rolls around Tuesday again for weigh-in, and I, again, should I go? Maybe I'll just wait till next week. And no, accept it. Face your fears. So I went, and I was shocked because I didn't lose, but I only gained 1.3 pounds. So that was a victory for me. And so I knew that I could get back on track the next day and put that behind me. That was done. I had fun and start anew, because that's not too much to lose, 1.3, you know, and it is a victory because I felt like I had gained way more.
But I think when I know you well enough, Andrea, I think that in the back of your mind, you're still thinking that, okay, I am, you know, trying to keep my weight at bay. And so even though you let yourself go to a point, you may not have gone to what you might have done in the past, because you know that all
subconsciously,
subconsciously, because you've been trying and you have been very successful in losing this extra weight, that you didn't want to put it all back.
That's right.
And so even though you treated yourself over the weekend, you treated it in moderation.
Exactly.
But regardless of whether or not it happened for you that you went off the rails, I'll say, in a bigger way or not, the point is you got to get back on.
Get back on.
Because we're always going to have setbacks.
That's right.
That's human nature.
That's right. It's a mindset, you know, and you have to talk to yourself, and in the meeting, you know, they talk about, how did you feel about that? How did it make you feel? Like, what is your plan moving forward? Are you going to, you know, get back on the program, or are you just giving up on yourself? And so it's all in a mindset, and you have to go back to your why. Why am I setting this goal? What do I want to accomplish? And how great I'm going to feel. But also, why is it important? Why is it important? Exactly.
And that's really great if you can answer the why, because in anything that you do, anything, you have to know your why.
Exactly.
What makes you do what you do? You know, a lot of times, and it's funny because I was listening to something recently and they were talking about everybody has to know their why. So in business, for example, if you want to help other people, you have to know why you're motivated to want to help them. So in your case, when you go to Weight Watchers, that group, they all know what a struggle it's been, and they are motivated by their why of, they know what it takes to do it. They want to be there to support you.
And that's another thing. If you have a setback, find people that are in the same mindset as you or have the same goal as you, and they can support you, be it online. There's a lot of support groups online for everything, or you might belong to a support group in your community, be it first-time moms, stay-at-home moms, be it Alcoholic Anonymous, uh, like the Weight Watchers meetings. Get involved in those things if the why is important to you.
It's funny you mentioned that, because when you were going on about, finding that why, but if, for example, and whether you have the drug addiction or the alcohol addiction, but there's people that have the shopping addiction.
Oh.
And for some people, if they don't figure out the why they do shop, even when they can't afford to shop, it makes them feel bad afterwards, because they know that really they're taking away something from maybe the family, but what's happening personally is they're having this internal conflict.
Right.
Because they can't stop it, but they know they need to. They can't stop it. And you need that support group.
You need a support group.
And any setback like that, you've got to start, again, when you talked about, the belief and the self-talk, that self-talk, what are you saying to yourself?
Yes.
That is so important. And I like the fact too, when you talked about the support groups because there are support groups for absolutely everything. And recently, I haven't even had a chance to tell you this, but I took a course back in 2012, and we're all in different professions. This course was actually to help coach other people in the things that we actually did professionally. In doing that, you want to help people, but there are sometimes things that are setting you back from reaching your goals. And we're halfway through the year, and it's kind of like one of those things where, how are the goals going? But anyway, just in the last few weeks, my classmates from 2012 have decided they're going to try to connect with everybody in this class from over 10 years ago.
Wow.
To see not only where they are, but how they can support each other.
Nice.
And I thought, wow, it's really great, because when we took the course back in 2012, they even said, as part of our training, act as if you've already achieved whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. And that was great. And we had this final party after, the course was done, and we acted as if we were already, in where we're supposed to be. But I thought, for a lot of us, after that, we've had no contact.
Wow.
And so different people stayed in touch. And it's funny, because on LinkedIn, there is somebody that is from my class, and, when I make a video, she puts a like on it. And when she puts on her poetry, I make a like on it, because we just want to support each other.
Exactly.
And so, while a couple people have stayed in contact, then this person might know this one and this one and this one. And we're looping back, and we're getting this bigger support group now.
Great.
And I'm like, but how great is that? So that's a good, not just for professional reasons, but even emotionally, if there was something going on in your life, because everybody comes with their own experiences. And so that is good to reconnect.
Yes.
So
the networking.
Networking is really important, but having that self-talk that, you know what, it's just one little setback.
One setback.
I can do this, and I'm going to do this.
That's right.
And you start moving forward from there. I mean, you must have had that, Andrea, even in, well, your kids are now adults, but helping them to keep moving forward, because I know you're always such a good friend for this, but I'm sure as a mom, you've had to help them see the future, the bigger picture, and stop dwelling on the past.
Exactly.
Because too many people live in the past.
Because what's done is done, and it's behind you. And hopefully, when you reflect, you've learned something from that.
That's the lesson you want to get, right?
Yes.
What was that lesson,
Why did you go off the track?
Yeah.
What happened specifically, so that in the future what your triggers are, or what might set you back, and for me, I know sets me back is going out with friends to restaurants, whatever. Even they say, well, eat a little bit before. Well, you do, but when you smell that garlic bread and you see brie with fig jam and crostini, you want it, So planning is also a key, So now I have to say to myself, if something's coming up, which it is, I have to think before I go. You know, what am I going to put on my plate? What am I going to avoid? What are the real bad point foods that I should be avoiding, you know? So that's key to it. It's all your mindset. And of course, I really want this. And that's another thing I feel. When you really want something and you've had a setback, it's easy to get back on track because you want it. Easier because you want it, because it was nothing for me yesterday to get back on track. I knew exactly what I had to do and I did it. And I have to say, I never did miss a day of tracking on my iPad because
that's good.
Because it is a streak, you know, you have a streak, so you don't want to mess that streak up. Like, you know how you were with your Spanish.
Yeah.
You wanted to make sure
absolutely.
you got it in there.
Yeah.
So I remembered to do that every day. So my mind was still with it, but, you know, getting a little loosey-goosey. But now I'm back on track. Yesterday, today, I planned the meals, had what I was supposed to, and I feel so good and happy.
But you know, one of the things that you mentioned, which I really like, and what you have to remember, ladies, you did something consistently. So even though you treated yourself while you were going through this big event over the weekend, you were consistent in logging your food intake.
Exactly.
And that consistency helps you to, I'll say, get back on the horse.
Yes.
And ride forward.
Yes.
Stop dwelling on the past. And the fact is, you made a conscious decision that I was going to treat myself over the weekend and not worry about everything. But in writing it down and knowing you were writing it down, that consistent thing that you did every day made the difference of how much extra you were going to treat yourself.
Right.
And that's really important to do.
Very important. Yeah.
So but
you
make sure
just don't let the setbacks erase everything that you've done so far. Think about all the success that you did have.
Yeah.
And dwell on that more. Just say, okay, I had a bad day. Everybody has a bad day. I had a bad week. Okay, everybody has a bad week. Don't let that erase all the good that you did in going towards your goal, because it won't ruin everything.
No, and the thing is, you have to remember that is past. So to undo everything and just say, oh, well, what's the point?
Right.
That's the thing that you don't want to do. And
that's the downfall.
That's the downfall.
Yeah.
So you know what? Maybe somewhere in your house, you've got to have your why somewhere posted so you can see, this is why I'm doing it.
Right.
So if I have this setback like you had, it's like, you know, okay, that's fine. But I'm not going to let it overtake my life. And now I'm going to undo all the goals that I had set for myself and all the things that you're trying to accomplish just because you have a setback.
No,
it's you can stay focused on the present.
And that's a victory for you.
Yes, it is.
If you can get back on your track and just say, okay, I had fun. I enjoyed. Now I'm ready to get back. That's a victory if you can get your mindset set that way.
And I think, Andrea, when you're feeling maybe that you're too far gone is where the support group comes in.
Yes.
Because maybe you just need that one person or a couple of people, like you said, you find those people that have gone through it and they can help you get back on track, because it's those little instrumental things that you do to keep moving forward that all of a sudden will accumulate, and you're like, before you even realize that, oh my God, you're so much closer to the goal that you set for yourself.
Right. Like, you know, there's a group that I belong to other than Weight Watchers, but it's a Weight Watcher kind of support group online, and they're always posting, and there is so many women out there that say, oh, I really blew it. I've been trying so hard. I'm only down 1 pound, this, that. But everybody chimes in. Keep at it. Don't let it get to you. It was only 1 week. They're so supportive, and it gives you that incentive and makes you feel good that, first of all, you're not the only one blowing it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're never alone.
Never alone.
No.
Everybody had a bad week, you know? And even this one lady that I follow, she's like a fitness, like she eats clean, she works out, she's unbelievable. She has those bad weeks, and she'll just say it. this week was not good, but we're getting back on track. We're going to plan, you know. So, yeah, you're not alone, and it's nice to see all the women out there supporting each other. There are the odd rude comments, I'm going to tell you, but the other girls put them in their place fairly quickly.
Good. Because, you know, I do know that some people will hide behind the computers and they can be really mean. But you know what? There's a lot more people that will be with you and for you that will get you back on track.
That's
then when you do start getting any little victory, celebrate that.
That's right.
Because it's really important for you to recognize that.
Even at the meeting when I said, I thought for sure I gained 3 pounds, but I only gained 1.3. Everybody clapped. It felt so good, you know. They saw it as a victory also. Well, you know, because they've been there, they know what it feels like.
It's funny because even when I'm on the golf course, you know, like I might be having a bad game or a bad hole, and then it's like, oh my God, I got a double bogey, thank God, because I have to celebrate that because it could have been a triple bogey or even worse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and people look at me and I'm like, well, listen, I made this really long putt and it would have been a worse score.
Right.
So I think that's pretty good.
That's
then.
a victory.
So when
exactly.
you can, so when you can celebrate that victory.
Celebrate the presence. What's happening right now? Don't worry about the holes back there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny because it really is true when you can celebrate gaining only 1.3 pounds instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
3 or 4 or 5 pounds.
Yes.
It's like that is a victory.
It is a victory.
And you have to recognize these little victories.
That's right.
So it'll keep you on track.
Keep you going.
But you know, the thing is, believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself that you can do it.
Absolutely.
That you can get back on track.
100%. And ladies, we're always here for you. There's other people out there around your circle, I'm sure, that are there to support you.
Yes.
And you know, if you want to leave a comment or whatever, or you just want to, you know, say
some support.
look for support and say, listen, you know, can you give me any words of motivation? We'll be there for you.
We're here for you, yes.
And if there's any topic that you would like us to cover on a future episode that would help you, because don't forget, you're not alone.
Not alone.
Other women are going to be thinking the same thing.
Exactly.
And we're all in it together.
Yes.
Women supporting women is why we do this, remember?
That's
Support your friends, your colleagues, your neighbors, your family.
Yes.
You have to do that.
You have to.
And
like they say, it takes a village, it takes a village.
Yes. And don't live in the past and don't dwell on anything.
No.
Yeah. So that's this week's episode of Success in Women. Any setback is just a little setback.
That's right.
You always got to keep moving
Get back
forward.
on that horse.
That's right. So until next week, I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And we hope that you
like,
share,
and please subscribe.
You know, give us a thumbs up once in a while. Thank you.
you.
We'll see you later.